What's up, guys? This is Ray and welcome to Age of Films, and today we're gonna go retro and talk about the 1985 anime film Vampire Hunter D. It was one of the anime movies I grew up watching as a kid, and it's one of those movies that if you grew up in the 90s, 80s or 90s, and you were a fan of anime, this was probably a movie you've watched along the way. It's also might be one of those movies that shocked you as a kid. You know, wow, I never knew cartoons could be so violent and bloody. So Vampire Hunter D takes place in the distant future where the world is overrun by monsters. It looks like the Wild Wild West. It's post-apocalyptic. And when the movie first starts up, you get introduced to Doris, who's the daughter of a deceased werewolf hunter. And she gets attacked and targeted by the local vampire noble, who's Count Magnus Lee. And he declares that he's going to make Doris his wife. So what does Doris do? She kind of runs away, encounters D, who is a wandering vampire hunter. She recognizes that he's a vampire hunter and then hires him to protect her. And, but little do Doris, the townspeople, and his enemies know D is actually half vampire, half human. So he has all the powers of a vampire, but almost little to none of their weaknesses. So this was my first time watching Vampire Hunter D in over 25 years. And I gotta say, it kind of holds up. You know, you can tell it's aged. It definitely feels low budget, but it made the best out of its low budget, let me tell you. So with the positives, first, the world, and the world that was made for Vampire Hunter D is so interesting. You know, obviously it's post-apocalyptic, but everything is overrun by monsters. The type of monsters they have inhabiting this world is more than just vampires. You get your demons, you get your snake people, you know, you get just your overall monstrosities that you can, the most nightmarish monstrosities you can imagine. They're wandering the land here. And since this takes place in the future, you get remnants of machines that people are using. I mean, the whole world itself looks like it's straight out of a Western, but you get super futuristic technology. Even the castle of Count Lee, it looks like something out of a cyberpunk story. It's more metal than the typical type of material you would expect a vampire castle to be made from. And I gotta say, I love the character design. The character design was made by Amano Yoshitaka, who we all know as the guy who designed a lot of the old classic Final Fantasy characters. And the type of characters that inhabit this world are so interesting as well. Like one of the bad guys D fights is this mutant with the ability to warp space around him. So when D tries to cut through this dude, he actually ends up cutting through himself. You know, stuff like that. That makes the characters here so unique. And the fights and the action was so fun to watch, even after all these years later. I mean, it's filled with all the same kind of action anime tropes that we all know and love. Anything from strobe lights to action lines to even intense white light behind the characters as something dramatic is happening. Yeah, it's all here. And of course, it's violent and bloody and gory as hell, and that's something that you gotta watch Vampire Hunter D for. When it comes to the negatives, you know, I thought there were a few pacing issues between certain action sequences. I felt like the way the story progressed in between these sequences were kind of slow, on the slow side. You know, you just kind of wanted to pick up a few times along in the story. And it's strange to say because this is a pretty short movie on its own, but I feel like they intentionally spread out some of this content so that way it can be that length. And above all, I didn't like the romance that eventually happens between Doris and D. I felt the development wasn't there. The chemistry definitely was not there. And it felt just ultimately forced. Like, I think you knew that it was going to happen. You know, you have your tall, dark, and handsome dude. Then you have your girl in the lead. Of course, the romance is going to happen. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, the romance part ultimately doesn't happen, but they lead up as like hinting that that something's there. But even then, it still felt a bit forced. And just with the chemistry between the two characters, you don't understand why it should even happen in the first place. I mean, despite all of that, overall, what did I think of Vampire Hunter D? You know, rewatch it again. I still think it's a classic. I still think it's a must-watch for any fans of anime, especially if you're into classic anime from the 80s. It definitely is an embodiment of all the tropes, all the art styles that we come to know and love from that era. So yeah, if you haven't done so yet, do yourself a favor and give Vampire Hunter D a watch. It's definitely a classic. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Vampire Hunter D. What did you guys think? What kind of questions did you guys have? Leave me know in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And by all means, please support Asian Films on Patreon. It definitely helps the channel a lot. And hey, did you know I started a Discord server so we can all chat about Asian films? Leave a comment down below and I'll send to you an invite to our server. And yeah, that's about it, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and hope to see you all again in the next video. Take it easy.